G'day guys, welcome back. My name is Wildkard. Super Rugby Round 6, the Fijian Druas hosting the Melbourne Rebels. Let's call them Rebels today. In Fiji, this was a game that I was kind of like most intrigued about because both teams are kind of like on the rise this year. The Rebels, believe it or not, it's no longer like a knockover team as you would expect from last year. The team has really grown a lot, especially with the 4-pack, the structure, the set piece has significantly improved. Also, the number 10, Carter Gordon, is like really targeting that number 10 jersey for the Wallabies. So the Rebels actually wheeled out the big guns this game with Andrew Callaway coming back. Reece Hodge was clear from an injury as well. Yeah, big turnout for the Rebels, and Endurance just completely blasted the Rebels out of the water, especially in that first half. The Rebels just looked run down. Maybe it was the heat, was not able to cope with the speed, the ball handling, and just like the urgency that the Endurance that we always kind of expect coming out of the gate today. Something that I thought was really interesting as well. Just excuse me because I am a bit sick today, so I'm going to wipe my nose every now and then. So hopefully you will forgive me for that. But yeah, something really interesting I kind of noticed with the Endurance. Like obviously they have been a team that's been known to be a strong finishing team that will try to chase the game down. But this game, the Endurance probably had a chat before the match. Like we wanted to be doing what we do best, that we normally do at the end of the match, early on in the beginning of the match. So the Endurance was really just hammering down the Rebels. Really made a statement that they are not just a team that chases in the last 10 minutes of the match. They are a team that are here to stay. They're a team that plays a Fijian style, which is really a lot of running, a lot of really good offloading in that one-on-one channels where the Fijians would just pummel through a little bit of heartbreak with that offload game. Really put the Rebels just unable to cope for the entire first half. The Fijians scored, 5 tries, I think, in the first 13 minutes. Yeah, the Rebels only able to muster 1 try in the first half with Murphy, and that was it. And one of the things that I thought was really, really impressive as well for the Honduras is their second half defense. The Rebels really came out with their big guns blazing, trying to chase the game, and just really, they did manage to crawl back quite a bit of the points. But the Honduras, under tremendous pressure, it was able to hold on again and again, especially in that breakdown, being that technical, getting that urgency, was able to diffuse the Rebels' comeback, and then was able to comfortably, I would say, hold on to their lead, and with a bonus point win, 6 tries to 4 over the Rebels, 38 points to 28. Really, really, really impressive performance, especially considering how much like international talent that is in the Rebels and how much the Rebels is looking good this year. With both teams fighting for that top 8 this year, like a win here is really, really, really important for the Endurance going into the going to the end of the season, right? So have a look at some of the interesting stats. 6 tries to 4 to the Endurance. 449 run meters, something that we see a lot from the Endurance. Rebels was able to catch up with that run meters in the second half, 358. 56 carries. I mean, the Rebels was just literally pounding the Endurance in the second half. 110 carries, so like double the carry amount over the Endurance. But the Endurance was able to get way more efficiency out of their carries. Like I said, that offload game, that Fijian style, they know what they're good at, and they just exploited that perfectly against the Rebels. Turnovers conceded, like I said, the Rebels conceded 18 turnovers. A large part of that came from the second half, where they were just like pounding the Fijian Endurance, especially like close to the try line, and the Endurance were able to just, able to diffuse, turn the ball over, just hold on and absorb the pressure again and again and again. Really impressive stuff, and that's a big thumbs up to the Endurance. Tackles made, 108 tackles for the Endurance. Rebels only had to make 41 tackles, and 26 missed tackles for the Rebels. That's something that they're not gonna like. That's really, really bad. Obviously the Endurance are one of the best running attacking rugby teams in the world. So yeah, 26 missed tackles out of 4. That's like 50%, less than 50% completion rate. Whereas Endurance, really good completion rate, 21 tackles missed out of 108, which is pretty decent for club rugby levels. Conversions, again, Endurance had 2 missed kicks. One of them was kind of like right in front. Wasn't going to be an issue for them, but it is something that the Endurance will continue striving to work on. Kicking game, the Endurance actually managed the kicking game much better than the Rebels, especially in the second half when they're under pressure, which is something that we've grown to like like, we weren't like normally expect. Something that we say about the Jurors is that, their kicking game, the Jurors usually likes to counter attack even in the inside their own half. But second half, when the pressure came on, they were managing that kicking game, just enough to get themselves out of trouble. And lineouts 3-0 for the Jurors. Rebels 18 lineouts, only one loss. One was spoiled. Scrums 13-7, quite even for both teams. Penalties conceded. This is something that the Jurors probably wanted to do a little bit better going into the following rounds, especially if they make it into the top 8. 13 penalties conceded. The Rebels only considered 2 penalties. I felt like this was a mistake or something. This has to be probably the lowest penalty conceded count of any team I've ever seen. I've never seen a team consider like 2 penalties for the entire game. I've never seen this low ever, and I've been looking at these games for multiple years. Since the World Cup 2019, I've been looking at these stats. I've never seen a team concede only 2 penalties in an entire game. So that is quite something special by the Rebels. I feel like this could also be a mistake, but who knows? The Jurors conceded 13 penalties. Not too bad, but wanted to get that, around under the 10 mark would be ideal overall. So, yeah, that's pretty much the overall stats for the game. So just a little bit of a quick recap. 6 tries for the Endurers. Less than 5 minutes, Endurers had 2 tries on the ball. And it was just good, like, running game. I don't want to, like, I don't know, go watching the replays probably. Just, like, good handling, good passes, finding themselves in space, one-on-one situations, get themselves through, little offload. 2 tries on the ball in 5 minutes, and Rebels already looking like they're blown out of the water. 16 minutes into the game, Endurers gets another 3rd try on the ball already. Mira, again, one of the best performers for the Endurers, goes in for the Endurers, and then the Rebels hit back on the 21 minutes into the game. Murphy, I think this was a set piece play, gets himself in on the board, and then right after that, the Endurers responded, and once again, just with the speed, with the intensity, with the desire. Marcy gets himself on the ball only 4 minutes later after the Rebels try, and then the pressure just kept piling on for the Endurers. The Rebels this one starting to look like they're falling apart. 3 minutes later, Endurers in the front foot again. Salawa goes in for another try for the 5th try already. Before half time, but 5 tries already before half time. Going to half time, I almost couldn't believe the scoreboard. 33 points to 33 points to 7. And yeah, it was looking pretty dire for the Rebels. The second half, who knows what's going to happen, right? And I think Andrew Callaway returned for the Rebels just before second half. Maybe he was put on, he was subbed on just before second half. So a big return for the Wallabies. He came on and really just immediately looked, showed a bit of talent. Was able to muster himself in over the try line. He almost got tackled. He got tackled like on the try line, but he wiggled himself over anyway. So a minute into the game, into the second half, the Rebels gets themselves back on the scoreboard, and it was looking like the Rebels were just gonna, maybe with the help of the Callaway, was gonna potentially build themselves back into the game. The Carter Gordon was looking more in control as well in the second half, and then again the Rebels build, and the Endurers just keep diffusing, holding. 57 minutes into the game, the Endurers was able to get a counter-attack opportunity and a beautiful turnover at the breakdown, and then just counter-attacked, and then just like I think it was just nice offload game, fluid rugby. Gets himself I think there was a little kick behind, and there was a loose ball. Yeah, it was a kick behind. There was a bit of a loose ball bouncing around, and the Endurers just looked like they wanted this more. Get their what's his name? I think he's I don't know. I think that's pronounced Thanakai Vata. Gets there, scoops on the ball, drops it down for the 6th try for the Endurers, 57 minutes into the game. And after that, the Rebels really wanted to bring the game back, just slowly but surely chipping the Endurers away. Again, lots of pressure putting on the Endurers, and Endurers just absorb. Eventually, Carter Gordon just do something, like just really get himself looking really good, like got himself involved multiple times in the same sequence of play, found himself on the wing, a bit of a space. He gets the offload, goes into the corner after 65 minutes in the game. With about 15 minutes left in the clock, the Endurers was like looking really threatening, but it wasn't able to execute. Was getting a little bit, towards the end of the match, both teams are looking really tight, looked really hot. The Endurers had a bit of a fumble going around, but yeah, there was a lot of, again, the Rebels was just really trying to chase the game. But the Endurers was holding on. But finally, on the 77th minute, Marsili, the big boy, finally punches in for the Rebels after sustaining a lot of pressure from the Endurers. And then the siren went off with the about still like 2 minutes left on the clock. So obviously the referee called for stoppage of the clock, but obviously the stadium had a different clock. Yeah, but the game played on a couple of minutes. The Rebels wasn't able to get any more out of that. And it is what it is. They try go for the bonus point, get it close to a bonus point, but the Endurers already had it in the bag in the last couple of minutes. And the game finished 38 points to 28. Quite good to see Endurers. I want to see more of this like attacking game from the Endurers. It's like a really different style from all the other teams, and with the improvement of the Endurers in the set piece front, in the scrummaging, in the lineouts, I think the next thing the Endurers has to do a little bit better is like the goal kicking. And other than that, with the style that Endurers bring, we could see potentially even an upset in the top 8 down the road, going into the final, going to the final end of the season. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this game, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate you watching this video. And like I said, I've been a bit sick. Hopefully, I'm going to be fine next week. But I'll see you guys a bit later, and have a good weekend. Cheers.